I'm Shelly, and is my picture going to pop up here? Okay, all right, that is me in 1998, in August, in Utah. And that is my $5 golf clubs that I just bought at a yard sale the day before, clubs included. That's my roommate Amy, who, that was the car that she bought for $250 that we then painted to say bookmobile. And I was also going through a really shameful public divorce during this summer, 1998. She was recently just had 39 stitches removed from her face and body because she had been attacked by a Great Dane on someone's doorstep. And she's still super adorable. We're still friends. We're in Utah at a driving range because I was in charge of this organization, and even though I'd never played golf before, I had these sweet clubs, so I took us to the driving range. Now, why were we there? So this summer job in 1998, this was my 6th summer selling books door to door. Okay, so just so you know, I walked around from 1993 to 2001 showing people these books in California, Utah, Idaho, Indiana. Super fun, right? Everybody wants to do it. And it's been around for 160 years, this job. We work 80 hours a week, and we go out there to our territory with no place to live, and you're certainly going to get sunburned and be homesick and face rejection, and yeah, you find your own host family. It's pretty tough, right? So when I was talking to Brian, he's like, what on earth ever led you to doing something like that? So this is 1998. This was my 6th summer, right? I ended up doing this 9 times. So it started before my first summer. So let's go from Utah back to 1992 at the College of Charleston. I was a junior, and I was in this little tiny apartment on Smith Street in Charleston, and I was asleep in my bed, and suddenly there was a man in my window with a mask and a gun, and he was saying, come with me or I'll kill you. And I'm a theater major. I'm kind of thinking it's a joke. This is a joke, right? This is weird, my friends do weird things. But I'm suddenly realizing this is true, this isn't a movie, this isn't a dream. And he's saying, you college girls are so stupid, you know. I knew your window was open, I've been watching you. I know the person next door moved out. You know, you're careless, the door was unlocked, you're stupid. And he drug me out around the window down. There was the apartment next door. Well, our little tiny apartments had these little tiny backyards with high fences side by side. He knew that was open. He drugged me around there, and he raped me. I remember, I'll never forget this kind of like noise of a gun tapping on your teeth, like tap, tink, 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 like this. And then I was left there. And then here's what happened, is I realized like, oh, I'm alive. Like, this is over. I'm not gonna die here, right? I'm gonna be fine. And I also realized, like, these are teensy apartments, so my roommates are right there. They're like 1 yard and 1 window right there. They're feet away from me. And I get up and I get dressed and I go in, and there's this flurry of like calling the police and realizing it's this serial murderer killer that's been around the College of Charleston for a few years at this point. And then suddenly I'm in a hospital and people are testing me for things, and my clothes are being put in a bag of evidence. I'm talking to an investigator, and then what happened was really interesting, because all these super well-meaning people started trying to tell me what the other victims had done. And I was a theater major, and it was the end of the semester, and they were saying, well, do you want to keep doing the show? I'm like, yeah, I want to keep doing the show. I got cast in the show, of course. But I had bruises all over my face, you know, to cover them up, and they said, well, do you want to move? You know, my dad came into town, him and my brothers were on this vendetta, and like they brought guns. You carry a gun in your purse, carry a gun in your car. I'm like, no, I'm not going to carry a gun. I'm not going to carry a gun in my purse. And no, you know, this wasn't my fault. I'm not going to start living. He wasn't caught, right? He was still out there. Police were patrolling the area constantly because he was out there. And I realized like everybody's reaction was more fear, like more act fearful that it's going to happen again, or act fearful, leave school, move home. I'm like, I'm not leaving this apartment. You know how hard it is to find a apartment in a college town. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm staying in school. I'm doing this. I'm making good grades. I'm staying in the show. I'm doing it. And one of the mandatory things, not mandatory but highly suggested things, was that you go to this counselor. And after 3 or 4 sessions, I said, I don't think I need to do this. I think I'm fine. And she said, well, if you feel, I had started sleeping on the little couch in our little living room, and our apartment was tiny, so literally like the couch in the living room was here, and my room was like right there where she is. So she said, if you don't think you need to come, you need to stop sleeping on the couch and go back to sleeping in your bed. If you can do that, I'll say, you don't have to come. So I said, okay, I'm doing that. And the truth was, is like, this isn't a long distance for fear, right? Like, I wasn't any safer here on the couch than I would be in my bed. It was just in my mind, like the memory and the fear. I'm like, no, I'm doing this. So I finished this, I'm like, I'm not going to decide this decision to like, I'm not going to live like a Green Beret. I'm not going to look over my shoulder. I'm going to keep going out by myself. I'm going to keep sleeping with the window open. I love the window open. It's my favorite, not doing that, not reacting this way. And then a year later, I'm sitting in an interview at the College of Charleston, so 1993, probably like April, March, and there's people there doing the interview who had made $16,000 the summer before. And we were going to California. And I was like, I am interested. I don't even care what it is, right? So they're telling us, you're going to go door to door, you're going to work 80 hours a week, you're not going to party, you're not going to go to music festivals, you're probably not going to date during the summer, it's just work, that's what the program is. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And then they're going across the room saying, why is this something you want to do? Why is this something you'd be interested in or think you can handle? And people are giving super solid intellectual answers, like, this is sales skills will look great on my resume, running my own business will be great. And, I've been wanting to relocate for a while. And I said, you go door to door? And they said, yeah, we go door to door. And I said, that sounds like awesome stories. Do you get great stories going in and out of people's houses all day? And they, now looking back, it's really funny because that's not a great interview answer. And I said, that sounds great. The average person made $8,000. I've never made $8,000 in the summer. Let's do this. And immediately, people around me were like, it's a scam. You don't even have a place to live. It's not going to work. You're going to be by yourself in neighborhoods. It's going to be scary. Fear, fear, fear. And I realized, like, every time I exercised my fear-facing muscle, my comfort zone got bigger. To where suddenly I was like, you know what, I can do whatever the hell I want, Like, I've already lived through Hurricane Hugo and a few car wrecks, and I haven't died. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here. Something way bigger than that's going to have to kill me. So I head out. I end up knocking on, Brian and I were talking about it, probably 50,000 doors in 9 summers. I learned this whole presentation in Spanish. Little kids sang these songs. I had, and one of my host families was an 8,000 foot house in, 8,000 square foot house in Boise, where the man described himself as a Jack Mormon, and he was a hoot, and he had all these like 14 VW bugs in the yard that he was working on, and the view was beautiful, and we lived with a Olympic ski trainer, and he recorded a band in the basement called Blonde Fury, and that was awesome. And I had, I changed tires in the desert. I drove back and forth across the country 9 times. I ended up living with about, 60 or 70 different people during that little time period. And it was a completely immersive experience of how families work. I'd grown up in a small town in South Carolina and knew my family, but I'd never seen, just the family raised by the grandmother. 3 families living in one house, families living with chickens, families with 2 dads, 2 moms. Just, the son takes care of everything. No one speaks English. Just everything that I could possibly learn. And it was so worth it to face fear over and over again in order to make friends for 20 years and have all these adventures. And I still know Amy. Her dad is my pastor. She met her husband that summer. I still, I work with a sister company of the book company right now as a business consultant, and I use things I learned selling door to door. Thank you.